The rain lashed at the city that night. The wind blew fiercely, making the windows tremble as if whispering secrets from a distant past. Amid the darkness, Ji-eun hurried through the narrow streets of Seoul. Her heart raced erratically. In her trembling hands, she held a yellowed envelope with ancient handwriting and a broken wax seal. The letter had arrived that morning. No return address, no clues as to who had sent it. Just her name, written with precision. Curious and apprehensive, Ji-eun tore open the seal and began to read. The first words made her freeze. If you're reading this, it means it's already too late. But there is still time to change your destiny. Go to the address below and discover the truth before they find you. Trust me, your life depends on it. An address. No signature. Just a terrifying warning. Ji-eun read the message several times, trying to find meaning. Could it be a joke? A mistake? But something inside her screamed that this letter was no accident. Something was about to change. Now, she stood in front of an old house in the city center, the place indicated in the letter. The number etched into the weathered wood of the door confirmed she had arrived. What would she find there? She took a deep breath and turned the doorknob. The door creaked and slowly opened. The smell of aged paper and old wood filled her nostrils. The interior was dark, except for a dim lamp illuminating a desk covered with documents. Her gaze swept the room until it stopped on a portrait hanging on the wall. Her heart nearly leapt out of her chest. It was her mother, but not as Ji-eun remembered her. In the photo, the woman appeared younger, wearing a traditional hanbok, smiling next to an unfamiliar man. Behind the dusty glass, a small label read, "Year 1987. Ji-eun stepped back. Her mother had never mentioned anything about that time. Who was that man? What did this house mean? Before she could process everything, a sound froze her. A creak from upstairs. Someone was there. Her instincts screamed for her to run, but curiosity was stronger. She climbed the stairs, trying to control her breath. Each step creaked under her feet. When she reached the top, she saw a door ajar. Lights were flickering inside. Ji-eun pushed the door open and found an office full of scattered documents. In the center, a table with several letters identical to the one she had received. Her eyes fell on an open diary. The words, written urgently, made her blood run cold. If Ji-eun finds this house, it means the truth has been uncovered. They will come after her. She needs to know who she really is. Ji-eun's heart raced. Who are they? She whispered to herself. Her gaze landed on the last sentence, highlighted in red. Ji-eun, you were never meant to be born. The air left her lungs. The room spun around her. What did that mean? Who was behind all of this? Before she could think further, hurried footsteps echoed in the hallway. Someone was approaching, and Ji-eun realized she was no longer alone. She quickly turned and saw a man standing in the doorway. His eyes were cold, but his expression showed surprise. You came earlier than I expected, he said, crossing his arms. This changes everything. Who are you? Ji-eun asked, trying to stay calm. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that your mother tried to hide you for years. But now, you need to know the truth. He stepped forward. You are the heir to something much bigger than you can imagine. Ji-eun stepped back, her heart pounding in her chest. Heir? To what? The man continued. Your mother was part of a secret organization. You are the key to something they tried to hide for decades. But now, they know you discovered it. We need to get out of here. She hesitated. Everything felt like a confusing nightmare. But the urgency in his voice made her trust him, at least for now. They rushed down the stairs. Ji-eun felt as if at any moment something would jump from the shadows to stop them. When they reached the front door, a loud bang echoed through the house. Someone was trying to get in. The man grabbed her wrist. Don't stop. Run. And so they did. In the torrential rain, they fled through the city, disappearing into the darkness. After several twists, chases, and revelations, Ji-eun finally arrived at the heart of the truth. Her real father had been a former leader of the organization, betrayed by his own allies and silenced before revealing the conspiracy hidden behind the government. Now, she had two options: to flee forever and live in the shadows, or to confront those who tried to erase her existence. and Ji-eun knew there was only one choice. With the help of the mysterious man, she exposed the secrets to the public, using records and evidence hidden in the house. The impact was overwhelming. The guilty were hunted, the system shaken, and Ji-eun finally knew who she really was. The letter she had received not only changed her destiny, but also rewrote the entire story they had tried to hide. And now, for the first time, she was free. However, the repercussions of her actions were still profound. She became an icon of resistance, but the fight for truth was far from over. Ji-eun knew her life would never be the same. Even with the exposure of the conspiracy, she would still be a target. But something had changed inside her. Now, she was the author of her own story. As the world recovered from the shock of the revelations, Ji-eun stepped away from the spotlight of fame and media. She chose to live in relative anonymity, but with the satisfaction of knowing her mother's legacy and the truth about her father had finally been revealed to the world. She knew the challenges were far from over, but she felt she was more prepared to face them now. Over time, Ji-eun found a new purpose. She dedicated herself to helping those who, like her, had been manipulated by invisible forces. She became an advocate for human rights, a voice against corruption and oppression. Her story became a source of inspiration for those who wanted to fight for a more just world. But Ji-eun also knew the future would never be easy. The fight she had started was far from finished. As long as there were those willing to manipulate and control others, her mission would continue. But she also knew that, as the author of her own story, she would choose her destiny. With every step she took, she wrote a chapter stronger, more resilient, and more determined. What happened to Ji-eun? She did not disappear into the shadows. She rose from the ashes of truth and became a heroine, not only of her own destiny, but of the destiny of many around her. Her journey had not ended, but now she had the tools to continue her fight. And so, Ji-eun's story continued, a story that would never be forgotten, because she had chosen to write it with courage, strength, and truth. She was a living legend, a woman who, by discovering her true identity, not only changed her own destiny, but the destiny of everyone around her.